Welcome to Positive Energy with Crystals. My name's Hillary, and today I thought I'd bring you along while I set up my manifestation box. So every spring I like to just do like a reset of it, take out the old stuff, go through it, and just kind of refresh it, put in, my new stuff that I need. Is one way to do it. There are lots of ways to do a manifestation box, but this is the way I found that works for me, and it kind of makes it fun for me too. So let's start with the purpose of a manifestation box. So I'm not going to explain manifestation work because pretty much everybody understands manifestation work. I like to use it to remind me to keep working on my goals. And that there are others, either other people, other powers, other whatever out there helping me work on my goals. I usually don't remember everything because I only open this about once a year. Well, I mean, I might open it more often, but I don't really focus on it except for springtime. And actually, this is a little bit later than I usually do it, but I was wanting to do a video about it, and I was trying to organize everything and all that. So I love manifestation boxes. I also use my manifestation bowls. I love manifestation work just in general. It's my number 2 favorite thing to talk about. And then I'm combining it with the crystals, which is my number 1 thing to talk about. So it's great. So I thought this would be a really good video. Now I don't, so I'll put all this stuff in, and I don't always remember what's in it or even what the goals are that I'm trying to manifest. But they're there, they're being worked on. Sometimes those goals change from when I write it down on the paper to the next year when I go through them, and that's okay. Sometimes those goals don't manifest at all, and that's okay too. Sometimes they weren't meant to manifest. Sometimes those goals do manifest, and that feels amazing. Especially when I forget about that specific goal. And then I come back a year later and realize either it happened or it's beginning to happen. Had to take an air conditioning break, but that was okay because it reminded me I forgot a few things. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, doing the box a year ago, sometimes you forget about what's in there. And then when I go through and go through all the old stuff, it makes me excited to realize stuff did manifest. Sometimes not all the way, sometimes in a different way. So example, I am so focused on wanting a permanent home, and I want to get out of limbo that we've been in for 3 years. I forget about the small goals, like having fun and having no stress on a family trip that we went to visit family. So after a year, I'm so focused on, oh, we're still in the camper, we didn't find our permanent home. But then I go through my slips of paper and the other items in my box, and I realized that we did have fun on that trip. It was very low stress. It was a great trip. And then I kind of start thinking about more, yeah, we aren't in a house yet, but we're working on it. We've met small goals to get to that point. And Another thing is, yeah, we've been in limbo for 3 years, but in that 3 years, we've done a ton of research. We know exactly where we want our home to be. You know, before, 3 years ago, we were looking all over the place. And now, after the 3 years, I realized there were places 3 years ago that I thought were fine that I didn't even want to be there. And so we've reached goals. And yeah, that major goal hasn't been reached yet, but we've made progress. We've taken steps. Going through the old goals and objects in my manifestation box helped me remember that steps were made towards the big one. And it reminded me little goals of the little goals. And it just, I don't know, it made me feel better knowing, you know, that it's working. Maybe not as fast. I've talked many times about how I have no patience, and this helps me realize that things are happening. So, let's start with the box. So this is my manifestation box. It's got this cute little latch. It's a perfect size. It's not too small. It's not too big. It's, for everything I want to put in it, it's a perfect size. I bought this at Hobby Lobby years ago for a completely different purpose. And then once that purpose was over, I made it my manifestation box. Because it looks like a manifestation box. A little dusty. And, but I've used cardboard boxes. You know, I use bowls. What else have I used? Pouches. All sorts of stuff. Now, if you've got a smaller box or smaller container, whatever, you may not be able to fit in as much stuff. This size is perfect for everything I want in there. For my crystals, cards, charms, paper, all that. So as I go through stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the box. Next, let's do... one thing is, so the box, it lets me forget kind of that subconscious working on my goals thing. But it also reminds me that I'm working on goals. So I'm going to put all this stuff in here, and I won't remember what most of it is. And actually, I was looking for this piece of amethyst the other day, and I totally forgot that it was in this box. And then when I opened it, I went, oh, there it is. So I'll probably forget that these are in there again, but that's okay. So all this stuff is in there, and I can forget about it. But this box is sitting on a shelf where I can see it. I keep it in our main living space. And so it's there to remind me of my goals, that I'm working on my goals. But subconsciously, well, not subconsciously, what is the word? In the back of my head, I don't remember specifically what's on the papers and stuff like that, but I know, like, in the back of my head that I'm working on the stuff that's in here. And then when I go back later, I go through and go, oh yeah, that worked. Kind of confusing. Let's see. Let's go ahead. So these papers, I'm not going to show them what's written on them, but they have specific goals written down. So I've got 4 different ones here. When I pulled it out, I think I had like 8 in there. So now I'm down to 4. Some of them are different than last year, of course. And I think I went more general this. Sometimes I'm really specific on what I write on the papers, and sometimes a little more general. It just kind of depends how I'm feeling. It's better to get specific, I will say that. But this time, I think because there's a few things that are kind of up in the air that I didn't want to get too specific on, because I didn't want it to narrow it down to that's what has to happen, because it could also happen this other way, and I'd be totally fine with that. So I think that's why I went a little more general this time. So these just have my intentions, my goals written on them. Those are the little pieces of paper. This larger piece of paper I'm not going to put in there yet because I need it. It has what all of these other things represent, because I'll put these charms in and then forget why I put it in there in a year. Or these little tarot cards, what they were specifically supposed to be working on. And now this is the first time I've done the charms, but I've used all the cards and the crystals before. But this really helps remind me of why I put specific things in there. So let's go to... This deck is amazing. This Making Magic. I really like using sigils. But when I do it kind of... I like to use different colored inks. I have a specific ink set I like using for sigils, but that's in storage. And it's been... Not like recently, it's been... We didn't expect to be here for 3 years. And if I'd known we were going to be here for 3 years, I would have made that ink set easier to get to. But it's deep. It's in the back, on the bottom, hard to get to. I'm not going to worry about it. And I think, I don't know. I know I can use markers, but there's just something magical about using that ink set that just makes the sigil feel more magical, and it just feels like it works better to me. And I've been having a hard time making sigils work, and I just can't get them to look right to me. And so this deck, this Making Magic deck, it has the sigils, and then you know what it symbolizes. I can't talk today. My nose is stuffed up. If you haven't watched the fairy video I did, I recorded it yesterday and I was outside, and now I am so stuffed up today. And that's why I sound nasally too. But so there, I actually look, fairy magic. I've got a fairy charm there too. I want to work more with fae stuff this year. There's some career stuff, protection. I always have the protection in there. Manifesting money, income, wishes come true, good fortune and lucky charm, and perseverance, the motivation to keep going despite the odds. So those are going to go in there. I also put these tiny tarot cards. I think this is actually called the Tiny Tarot. So I put, focus, the Wheel of Fortune in there for good luck. The Star for better times ahead. The Ten of Cups, these are so small it's hard to focus. Ten of Cups is for happiness and home life. Ace of Pentacles is for prosperity and material gains, beginning of successful endeavors. And Nine of Pentacles for financial success, finances improve. So I put those in there too. And that I just started doing last year, and that's been kind of fun. Now let's go to Tiger's Eye. So I always use, or crystals. So I always use Tiger's Eye for manifestation. I've used it forever. It's been one of my main manifestation crystals forever. So I always have a piece of Tiger's Eye when I'm doing manifestation stuff. So that'll go in there. Next, the Goldstone. If you've watched my Goldstone video, you know that this has recently become one of my very favorite manifestation crystals. I had a lot of good stuff happening the month and I actually carried this piece, and I'm putting this piece in the box because I bonded with this piece so well over that month that I felt it was a good idea to put it in the box. Be sure to check out that video if you haven't watched it, by the way. Terminated quartz. It amplifies and protects, removes obstacles, clears negative energy, and is good for good luck. Amethyst. It's calming, helps with decision-making skills, helps stress relief, reduce anxiety, and I have a strong connection with amethyst. So I put that in there. Let's see, aventurine. This is a big, huge piece of aventurine. When I did my month with aventurine, I didn't really feel that it was doing much for me. But there's something about this big, huge, raw piece that just feels good to have in manifestation box work. So I don't think I've owned this piece for very long, but it just feels good to have in there. Aventurine is good for good luck, and it's kind of a cool piece. Okay, keep going. Next, pyrite. Pyrite is for good luck and prosperity. I use pyrite in a lot of manifestation stuff too. Let's see. I've got this little piece of chrysocolla in here. And chrysocolla is really good for turning your dreams into reality. Carnelian is also good for manifestation and creativity, and it's beautiful. I love this piece. This piece I've had in that box for a long time, and it just is, you can't tell, but it looks like it's, maybe you can. Nope, you can't really see. It looks like it's got veins running through it. It's pretty. Anyway, keep going. And then I'm also adding a piece of clear quartz just to amplify power. Now I've got the tourmalated quartz in there, that's clear quartz with the black tourmaline in it. But I thought just a regular piece of clear quartz would be a good idea. This one's got kind of a cool shape. Alright, next, this is called a wishing stone. I've got several. I've got a big, huge one, and this one fits perfectly in that box. And it was actually just found recently. So what a wishing stone is, it's a rock, and then it's got these bands that go all the way. It has to stay connected. There has to be at least one band that stays connected all the way around the rock. And it's usually like a band of quartz that goes through. So what you do is you make a wish, hold it, and then a lot of times you just set it somewhere. So I've done my make a wish, and then I'll put it in my box, and it'll be there to help out. Plus it's kind of cute. I've got a big, huge one, and then I think I've got a medium-sized one somewhere too. They're kind of fascinating. All right, now the charms. Like I said, the charms are new this year. And I'm gonna use my piece of paper here. So I've got a clover for good luck, a key for a safe home, whether it's finding a new home or the home that we're in now, just to be safe in our home. Infinity heart is for my husband and I to keep working together and being a good team. The tree, I'll go ahead and put these down, for setting down roots, and this one is sort of specifically geared towards finding our permanent home. So grounding and setting down roots. And this little fairy sitting in the star, that's for my work with the Fae. And the funny thing is, you know, I swear the air conditioner doesn't come on this much when I'm not recording. It's only when I'm recording that it comes on this much. Anyway, so this little fairy in the star, I actually had it and the card, the fairy card, set up before I even knew about Summer doing the fairy thing for June. So I was already planning on doing some Fae work before Summer stuff, and it was already manifesting that June, Summer from A Starry Sin was doing her work, and I started participating in that too. So that's what that one's for. Peace, just because I feel like we need some peace. Just, calm, peace, no tension, no stress, just peace. And then my little dog heart here, just for my dog. We've been dealing with some allergy stuff since November. She's got bad food allergies, and we ended up, a food that she's been on for a long time, a bag got misbagged, and it was the wrong food in the bag that we've been buying forever. And so that started this drama, and we've switched food. I don't trust that brand anymore. She's actually now on a prescription one, and it's June and we're still dealing with that. So, but we're working on it, and that's just my little dog paw heart for her to help her stay healthy and safe. And then I just had these two. I really like this heart, and I think this one I was kind of intending more for like self-love type stuff. And then this was in with the charms, and I didn't know what to do with it, but it says, you can't really see, trust, love, dream, hope, and then it just keeps saying it over. So I thought that was a good thing to put in there too. So then I take my big piece of paper here and put that in there, close it up, and I might sit here with it for a little bit, and then I'll put it up on it's actually on top of a little refrigerator that we keep drinks in, and I'll know that I'm working on my goals, and it's there for support and to remind me to work on goals. And if my goals change, that's perfectly okay. So if you do a manifestation box, tell me how you do yours down in the comments. I love hearing about other people's manifestation work. I love talking about manifestation work and different ways to do it, and so tell me about your manifestation boxes, and I will see you next time.